still writing the points, the marks?
No, this is the grocery list.
It's Sunday. So can we start the review show then?
Of course we should. Hello and a very warm welcome to Cricket Fables with Jamie and Meha. And as promised, we have the Indian team's scorecard for all of you. Jamie?
Yes, marks out of 10. As a lot of you mentioned in the comment section during the series, you guys should really be doing series reports cards after every match and series. So we decided to hold off until the series. Just one thing I want to set straight. We've only given marks out of 10 for the players who featured in more than one test match. So that means that there's no report card for Shahbaz Nadeem and Kuldeep Yadav. But everyone else who featured in multiple tests, we have given them marks out of 10. So without further ado, let's start in order from the batsman down to number 11. The first name on the Indian team sheet, Rohit Sharma.
Who else but Rohit Sharma? That's right. We've gone with 9 points for Rohit Sharma simply because he was the most outstanding batsman of the series. And of course, the highlight being that 161 in the second test match. That set things up really for India after having lost the first game. So yes, 9 points for Rohit Sharma.
345 runs, the leading run getter of the series by far. That 161 on day one of the second test, which set the tone for India's commanding record win. And, he only got one more 50 after that, but there was a crucial 49. Yes. And Rohit Sharma, like we said, he just looked the best batsman, which is fantastic to see from an Indian perspective. I, for one, had some doubts about his abilities as an opener, but he's just smashed everything out of the park. You might be wondering why, when the leading run scorer by so much and an average of 57.5 has 9 points. This was more me. If Meha had her way, she would have given an extra point to many, many players. But I had a bit more of a measured argument that, because, you have to get 10 if you excel in every match. And Rohit Sharma, that first match looked a bit out of form. And that's when a lot of the criticism about his batting came to the fore again. That's why we've gone for 9 out of 10.
I would have still given him a 10.
There's a lot of back and forth about these marks. As you do, it's like when you make a list of, of cricketers, you always have a bit of a debate going on. But
okay.
Moving on to the second opener.
Moving on to Shubman Gill, and we've gone in with 3 points. Again, I would have given more because it's Shubman Gill, and I know that he is the future of Indian cricket, and I would want him to do so much better than he has already done. But yes, it was a little disappointing. I think he spoiled us in Australia after the way he batted. And in those circumstances, you felt like, okay, here he would have done more than just 150. But you have some series where you don't do it. He's just 21 years old, Jamie.
Absolutely. He has a long way to go. I definitely think he'll be starting in England when India go for 5 test matches, plus that all-important WTC final. But like we said, the promise and the brilliance he showed in his debut stage in Australia, we expected him to do well. We both spoke about Shubman Gill before the series and how we thought he'd be getting big runs. He did not get them, just the 150 and 2 ducks. It seems, even though the sample size is small, that he has a problem against pace up front when the ball is moving. We saw him shoulder arms to Ollie Stone and get out. We saw him get out LBW to James Anderson. So perhaps a bit of worry there, but I'm not too concerned because, like you said, he is the future. But overall, from his standards from Australia, this was a very disappointing series from Shubman Gill.
I also feel he's dealing with the weight of expectations. For a 21-year-old, as Mr. Gavaskar also said, there is Mayank Agarwal waiting in the sidelines. So, I'm sure he has that pressure. But let's move on to the man who absorbs all the pressure but hasn't been able to do that when it comes to his batting this time around is Cheteshwar Pujara, the rock, the wall, the man who stood tall during Australia series. We've gone in with 4 points. Again, I would have at least given him 50%. Why not? Just because he's Cheteshwar Pujara, but just going by his performance.
What you expect
when
from him.
Jack Leach got you out at least 4 times in the series, and you just want Cheteshwar Pujara to do better than that. So yeah,
absolutely. An average of 22.26 with 150 is not what you expect of a batsman of Pujara's class. More so given his outstanding home record in test matches, but he had not done badly at all against left-arm spinners before this over the last few years. Some excellent numbers, in fact, we were looking at them. But then Leach gets him 4 times in the series, LBW and edging. So overall, again, it's a matter of what you expect from Pujara and what you get. That's why we've gone for 4 out of 10.
All right, then let's talk about the captain, Virat Kohli. Captain Kohli, and we've gone in with 6 marks for him out of 10, which is little ironic in the way that it feels low, but he's actually been batting well. And the fact that he's not got 100 probably has added to this, right, Jamie? I mean, he's really
It's a
looked
tricky
good.
one. Yeah.
He's looked good in the middle. He's been, timing the ball well. We've all been waiting for his 71st international century, which hasn't happened. But yeah, the
It's a
fact
matter
that
of
he hasn't gotten to a
it's
big
just a
score.
matter just a matter again of reputation, Virat Kohli looked so good when he got those 250s, arguably the best he's ever looked in tough conditions against, the turning ball. He looked so good. Yes, he got a grubber, as they call, which stayed about so low in the first test match. Again, he got another 50. But again, expectations versus what you get. I think two ducks in the span of 4 innings now also takes a lot of shine off what he achieved. Again, he's averaging under 29. That's not what you expect from Virat Kohli, who bossed England. Let us not forget, so dominantly the last time they came in 2016. Captaincy overall was good. I think he made a lot of mistakes with the DRS review. Personally, I docked him some points there.
I thought he was tactically very good. They got the selection right. He got the bowling changes right most of the times. I thought,
Yeah,
I mean,
so
if
that
you
was
go,
one of our
if it was just for
debates.
his captaincy, I would have given him more.
But
Than,
again, we saw him.
a six.
He barely got one DRS call right the whole series. I know there was one time when Ashwin was literally pleading for him to get it, and it was a wrong call.
Yeah.
But overall, Kohli's.
I think next time Nitin Menon, if he is there in the
What an umpire.
he's umpiring in the test match, just go by what he has to say.
Yeah.
He gets everything right.
Yeah.
So just go by what his decision is. Okay, let's move on then to Ajinkya Rahane and that, what do you say, his home record, a dismal home record. And the thing is that he got really upset when a journalist asked him about his record at home. But those are the numbers, Jamie. Once again, Rahane struggled, and we've gone in with 4. And he played a crucial knock with Rohit Sharma. So in the second test match when Rohit scored 100. So yes, just expect more from him.
He is the vice captain. We've seen now he's gone now 11 innings since that brilliant Melbourne 100. Just got 150. So there are problems, but like people keep saying, but he's the one. He'll give you that innings every 10 innings. But is that what you expect from your vice captain and such an experienced player? I mean, we're both big Rahane fans, but when you go through a series averaging 18.66 with just 150, a lot of judgment calls going back again, like the England batsman, going back to balls that came on. Again, a rather poor series from a vice captain of Rahane's stature.
Yeah. Okay, then move on to what was an absolutely brilliant series for Rishabh Pant. I mean, it couldn't have gotten better, really. He's followed it up from what he was doing in Australia to have just made it better here in India against England. Not just with his batting, but even wicket-keeping skills. There was such a huge question mark over his wicket-keeping going into the series, given that these conditions where the ball would have been turning, but the man showed up, and how.
Yeah, exactly. I couldn't have said it better. We saw him do so well with the bat in Australia. We wondered, how would he go here? In the first innings, after England had piled up over 550, and India lost 4 wickets to Best, he came out and he counter-attacked. He hit Best, he hit Leach, and then he got out, so close to 100 again, for the 4th time in the 90s. And then he dropped a catch off Ashwin. So all the talk about his ability to keep against spin came up.
Yeah.
But he worked hard. Meha said this yesterday also in our post-match review, how the hard work of Pant has come to the fore. And Ravi Shastri mentioned how hard he's kept in the nets and in the games, and how he termed his 101 as the best. What is it?
Best counter-attacking innings by an Indian on Indian soil.
Just really outstanding. He did it again. There was that one daft dismissal when he charged out to the spinner and got stumped. But overall, how good has Pant been? And there's talk of him now playing a long time across formats and perhaps even a future leader. I've read also. But the stats say it. Second to Rohit Sharma with 270 runs, 2 superb 50s, and exceptional 100 when India were 146 for 6, mind you, in a low-scoring game.
Yeah.
The catches, 8 catches, 5 stumpings. Really, I mean,
I also think that, and that includes us as well, that we need to be slightly more, how do you say, easygoing, not easygoing. We need to be slightly more understanding of the way he's batting. And in case he gets out in, like you use the word, daft manner, then we need to be a little more understanding, because that's just the way his game is. And though I think he's been working really hard because of the way he batted to getting to that 100. I mean, you just saw a different Rishabh Pant in the first half of his innings, and then the Rishabh Pant that we are used to seeing. So 9 points for Rishabh Pant.
And if you're asking why it's 9, not 10, it's for the reason that I mentioned. You know, there were a couple silly dismissals. There were some catches put down against him. I see it in a different way. We went back and forth a lot. Yeah, tum 10 de rahe ho, tum 9 de rahe ho, 8 de rahe ho.
See, I'm the teacher every child would want to have correcting his or her paper, because I like giving kids as many marks as I can.
And I'm sure a lot of you will also disagree. So please let us know with your comments down there. Let's keep it civil though.
Okay,
moving on to the man of the series, Ashwin.
Is that? That's Ashwin. Well, it couldn't have been. Like I said, I think this theme of doing better here in India after having done really well in Australia, I think Ashwin followed that as well. And once again, you saw Ashwin, the all-rounder, coming to the fore. There was all this talk even before the Australia series where, why isn't Ashwin in as your spinner in overseas test? And I know Jadeja was getting the place in the playing 11 because of his batting. But Ashwin just showed what he brings to the table now.
He's definitely a starter. I mean, there's no doubt about that when you play matches in Asia. But overseas, like he himself said, last week, he didn't see himself starting in Adelaide a couple months ago because Jadeja was fit, but then Jadeja got injured, and then Ashwin suddenly found himself penciled in for the first 11, and the batting especially, which he showed in the Sydney Test when he batted through pain to draw India, that fantastic game at the SCG, and then we saw him batting so many times here in this series. He just looks so good and assured against spin, and that fantastic 100, and I mean, you expect him to take wickets. 32 wickets.
Yeah, I just like the fact that, and he says it too, that he's really enjoying his cricket, and you can see that on the field, off the field. We know he's a cricket nerd with what we see on his YouTube channel, but he's really enjoying being out there in the middle and sort of soaking in everything. And he says it himself that this is the best phase of his career, and you can see that with the way he's performing both with the bat and the ball. So yes, we've gone in with a perfect 10 for Ashwin, and we will move on to another great find for the Indian team, Washington Sundar. As a batsman, as a bowler who came in also to develop as a batsman, but now you're seeing him play a better role as a batsman who can bowl a bit.
Absolutely. He averaged 90.5 in the series, played 3 matches, 181 runs in tough conditions when the team was in trouble. He put up 2 fantastic innings. That one was the 80 when he counter-attacked, and then that 96 not out. Heartbreaking for Sundar to see 3 wickets fall down for no runs in 5 balls.
By the way, we've cut off Mohammad Siraj's points. 1 point for not letting.
But Siraj did help Ashwin get to his 100. But I think that the point with Sundar here is we have to see that he's a specialist batsman, and the bowling is not his strongest suit, which is why he didn't get more points, because the bowling looked average a bit compared to what he achieved on debut at the Gabba when he got Warner and Smith as his first wickets. But what he's done to our minds is he's allowed India to play 5 bowlers, in the sense that you can pick Washington Sundar as a batsman. He's got all the technique, the temperament, the shots. This is a proper first-class batsman who could even be batted higher up the order. But for now, for what he's achieved as a batsman in this series, we've gone with him 7 out of 10.
Okay, let's move on to the other perfect 10. Who else could it be but Akshar Patel? I mean, इनको लग रहा होगा कि टेस्ट मैच तो गली क्रिकेट है, क्योंकि इन्होंने जो अचीव कर लिया है ऑलरेडी अपनी डेब्यू सीरीज में. People can only dream of it. And so, yes, the conditions were tailor-made for his kind of bowling, but even then, to execute it in the way that he did it, and that in the way that he did was absolutely brilliant. And last the fourth test match, Jamie, especially, I can understand, the pink ball test where people were saying, well, Akshar Patel, the pitch is exactly what he wants. But this test match, he showed that, he has great control over his bowling. And bowling stump to stump, over after over, not giving the batsman even an iota of a chance to go for his shots. Incredible stuff.
The England batsman had just no clue to Akshar Patel. Yes, he got very, very favourable conditions, and it'd be interesting to see how he does when the conditions are flatter. But absolutely, take nothing away from him. Yeah. He knew exactly what to do, where to bowl, the variations, the pace, the sliders. He put so much doubt in the England Test batsman's mind even before he rolled his arm over. Yeah. So from a bowling perspective, absolutely outstanding to see a support player. Yeah. Let's not forget a replacement player for Jadeja do perhaps even better than we could have seen Ravindra Jadeja do. So we hope he has a great future. We understand that the conditions played a big role. Again, with the bat, he's an all-rounder. He only got that one good innings, but it showed that innings of 43 where he was able to put up a century-plus stand with the Washington Sundar showed that Akshar, the batsman, cannot be undervalued. So 10 on 10 for Akshar Patel.
Okay, now let's talk about the fast bowlers. Didn't have a huge role to play in this series because of the conditions, but nevertheless, Ishant Sharma, we've gone in with 7 points because whenever he was given the ball, and we've seen this so often with Ishant now, he just bowls his heart out. I think that has really been, what would you say, that has been the character that we see from Ishant, from Bumrah and from Siraj. Absolutely. That in these conditions, you get nothing for a fast bowler. But then to go out there. And I think for all three of them, Jamie, there were these moments of brilliance, right? And so
definitely, all three.
Exactly. So in keeping that in mind, should we just sort of hurry up with this thing now because we've already done 17 minutes?
I think the whole point we're making here, the pace bowler didn't have a big role to do, which is why you cannot really give them 10 out of 10 despite how well they bowled. Ishant Sharma, of course, got to 300 wickets. He gets 7 out of 10. Jasprit Bumrah, surprisingly, we saw that he was playing his first series at home. He's overseas. He had some good spells. That ball to Dan Lawrence, he got some nip backers. But again, it's not the Bumrah you expected, given that all he's done. Yes, he was coming back from injury. Perhaps he was a bit fatigued, but not that mind-blowing.
So point lesser than Ishant Sharma.
Not that mind-blowing series you expect from him. And then Mohammad Siraj really did nothing wrong. He was playing largely because of injury or when someone was rested. He had some great spells to get Root, and then Zach Crawley with those superb in cutters. But again, in a series where pace did not have a big role, there was just not enough to go by when we handed out our points. But
that's right. Yeah. But so that was the player rating. But I think the team gets a 10.
Absolutely,
the team
more.
Gets a
you can give more
10
than 10
and 1 extra mark for handwriting. We used to get it in school. No, but the team really, what more can you ask of this Indian side?
The bowler, the spinner, outstanding. I got my ball. Yesterday, I played a match, my first club cricket match in a year, and having watched Akshar Patel bowl so accurately, surprisingly, I bowled one very, very accurate over, and my teammates were like, "Acha, aapne to kafi dekha hoga in log ko dalte hue." So that's my little bit of a tidbit.
I told him not to get his match and his wins.
See, I'm wearing my club shirt here, and I've got a ball also.
Anyway, from what you can make out, he's begun his cricket season. He stayed back because of COVID, but finally gave in and said, "I'm going to start playing." So, इन्होंने 1 wicket लिया कल.
एक ही over डाला मैंने.
And as usual, I've heard this so many times. He counts it as 2 wickets because one catch was dropped off his bowling. I mean, if you go by that,
any bowlers watching will understand my point.
I don't know how the bowlers would be counting the likes of Mr. Anil Kumble and Harbhajan Singh and everybody else. If they counted every catch that was dropped off their bowling.
Anyways, getting back to the show, we hope you've enjoyed our marks out of 10, our series report card. Let us know your feedback below. I'm sure you agree and disagree with a lot of what we've said. We'll be back in the white ball leg of this India versus England series.
And also do subscribe. We've been stuck on 8 point something. So at least get us to 10,000 quickly.
Smash the likes, smash the shares, and do subscribe. Thank you.
Goodbye.